The first season of the Book of Boba Fett is over, and we have no idea if we're going to get a second at the moment. I'm not even sure we need one, but I wanted to talk about what I would like to see in a potential second season for the show, or at the very least what I hope to see for Boba's future in his inevitable appearances in The Mandalorian or the other connected series. First, I'd like more exploration into Boba's motivations to become a crime lord, or maybe he could just stop calling himself that. Maybe that's why they used the term daimyo so much, because he really seemed to be removing the crime element from his leadership style. His intentions seemed purely noble. After the loss of the Tusken tribe, he wanted to stand up against the criminal underworld of the planet to protect the innocent people who lived there. I can buy that, but it almost seemed like Boba himself didn't know what he was doing or why. I can accept that too, maybe he doesn't, because this is very much new territory for him, but if that's the case, I want to see him get more confident in his purpose. At the end of the season, he seemed unsure that he was cut out for the role he had chosen. That might be part of the storytelling for the overall series, but something about the way it was written and presented, I don't know if that's a character choice, or if Favreau also doesn't know what he wants to say about this character. And that brings me to my next hope, which is more focus in the villain department. The mayor is the bad guy. No, wait, it's the Hutts and Black Chrysanthemum. Wait, now the Hutts left and Black Chrysanthemum is on his side. Oh, okay, it's the Pikes. They're the real villains. Even though the Pikes were present from the second chapter on, we spent 3 episodes bouncing around between other threats, and then we spent an episode and a half away from Tatooine. I never really felt like the Pikes were this major present threat. Cad Bane was an excellent villain, but even he didn't arrive until the very end of the second to last chapter. And that's a trend I've noticed a lot in the streaming series, more in the MCU than Star Wars, but it's clearly happening in both universes. We build, and then right at the end, the true villain will reveal themselves, some cameo that fans will be excited about that's quickly dealt with or killed. Agatha Harkness in WandaVision, He Who Remains in Loki, Kingpin in Hawkeye, and now Cad Bane. All of these characters show up and it's a really exciting moment, and then they're gone. Kingpin and Cad Bane are so similar in that regard, and I know these are comic book or Star Wars stories, characters can return, but I would have loved to see Cad Bane be a more menacing presence throughout the entire series instead of just one episode and one scene. Show him and the Pikes really causing trouble for the people of Mos Espa throughout the season. Peli tells us that everyone is afraid of the Pikes. Boba tells us that Spice is hurting his citizens. But show us, don't tell us. So for Season 2, I would love to see the Hutts return. Boba Fett had a line about how it makes sense that they would just sit back and let their enemies fight it out. They could return to try to take their territory now that only one syndicate is involved. And if they're going to bring in some big-name villain like Bosk or whoever, bring them in early. Next, let's get off Tatooine. We've spent enough time on the planet. If Boba Fett is interested in protecting those who can't protect themselves, I think he could and should expand his operations. Tatooine can still be his home base, we can still see it, but we've been told and shown that the New Republic is unwilling or unable to adequately protect this area of space. I mean, they were right next to Tatooine, and they weren't doing anything about the Pikes. I'm not blaming Carson Teva, by the way, he seems to be doing what he can, but he's just one person. Boba Fett could step up and start to remove criminal syndicates from the Outer Rim. The Hutts don't have to return to Tatooine, he could go to them. It would be a good continuation of the themes explored with the citizens of Freetown. Everyone on Tatooine should band together to stand up to the Pikes. Okay, we did that, now let's take it a step further and unite the Outer Rim. I've speculated, and I've seen others say this as well, that Boba Fett could be like the canon version of Talon Karrde. In Legends, he was introduced as a leader of the Scum and Villainy faction of the galaxy in the original Thrawn trilogy. With Thrawn's return on the horizon, it's very possible we could see a loose adaptation of those events play out in The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and so on. Boba Fett could lead some sort of Outer Rim force, first against the criminal syndicates that have run rampant there for so long, and then against Thrawn when the time comes. I'm honestly not sure we need a second season for the Book of Boba Fett. I would definitely watch it, but I'm also satisfied with how Boba's emotional journey ended, reinventing himself from villain to hero. And the fact that Favreau and Filoni did that while writing a story that used every element of his story from Attack of the Clones to the present was excellent. So maybe Boba is better suited as a supporting character from this point forward in the larger story. I would be okay with that too. But what do you think? Will we or should we see more seasons of the Book of Boba Fett, or was one enough? Let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel to keep up with all our Book of Boba Fett coverage, and consider checking out our Patreon page for even more. We released video reactions and audio commentaries for every episode as they came out. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.